Have you ever wondered why some people seem to get richer every single year, while millions of hardworking people remain stuck in the same financial cycle? They wake up early, work long hours, pay their bills on time, and still struggle to save money. It's easy to believe the problem is a low salary, a bad economy, or simply bad luck. But what if the biggest reason isn't how much money you make? What if it's something you've believed since childhood? Imagine playing a game your entire life without ever being told the real rules. No matter how hard you try, you'll never win because you're following instructions that were never designed to help you succeed. That's exactly how most people live with money. From a very young age, we're taught how to read, write, solve equations, memorize history, and pass exams. But almost no one teaches us how money actually works. We spend years preparing for a career, but almost no time preparing for financial life. And that one mistake quietly affects the rest of our lives. Welcome back to Wealth Theory. I'm Addy, and on this channel, we explore the psychology of money, investing, wealth building, and the hidden financial principles that can completely change the way you think about your future. If you're serious about becoming financially stronger, make sure you're subscribed because every week we uncover the ideas that schools never taught us. Today we're exposing some of the biggest lies about money that millions of people still believe. And stay with me until the end, because the final lie may be the one that's holding you back the most. The first lie sounds completely harmless. In fact, you've probably heard it hundreds of times. It goes like this: work hard, get a good job, and you'll be financially secure. At first, that sounds like good advice. Hard work is important. Education is valuable. A good career can absolutely improve your life. But here's the problem. A job alone has never guaranteed wealth. Think about it. Around the world, there are teachers, nurses, engineers, and skilled professionals who work incredibly hard every single day. Yet many of them still live paycheck to paycheck. On the other hand, there are people who seem to earn money while they sleep. So what's the difference? It isn't always intelligence. It isn't always effort. More often than not, it's understanding the difference between working for money and making money work for you. Most people spend their lives trading time for income. Every hour they work earns them money, but the moment they stop working, the income stops too. Wealthy people eventually reach a point where their money begins producing more money. Their investments generate returns. Their businesses create income. Their assets continue growing whether they're working or not. That's why two people can earn exactly the same salary today, but live completely different lives 10 years from now. Now here's another lie that sounds logical but quietly keeps people stuck. If I earn more money, all my financial problems will disappear. Have you ever noticed how someone gets a promotion, buys a bigger house, upgrades their car, starts spending more? And a few months later they're saying the exact same thing they said before. I still don't have enough money. This is called lifestyle inflation. As income rises, spending rises with it. Instead of building wealth, people simply build a more expensive lifestyle. And because every new expense feels normal after a while, the cycle never ends. That's why earning more doesn't automatically make you wealthier. Managing money wisely does. Imagine two friends. Both receive a $20,000 raise. The first friend celebrates by upgrading everything. New phone, luxury car, expensive vacations, designer clothes. The second friend keeps living almost the same way, invests most of the extra income, and allows compound growth to work over time. 5 years later, they have completely different financial lives. One owns memories of expensive purchases. The other owns assets that continue creating wealth. The salary was the same. The decisions were different, and here's something that might surprise you. The richest people in the world don't spend their lives asking, "What can I buy?" They ask a very different question. What can I own that will continue paying me in the future? That one question has created more wealth than almost any financial trick you'll ever hear. Have you ever walked into a store planning to buy just one thing, but somehow walked out carrying 5 shopping bags? Or maybe you've opened an online shopping app simply to look around, only to place an order a few minutes later. If that has ever happened to you, you're not alone. And here's the surprising part. It probably wasn't your lack of self-control. It was your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. Your brain loves immediate rewards. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors didn't worry about retirement accounts or stock portfolios. They worried about surviving the next day. If they found food, they ate it. If they found shelter, they used it. Waiting wasn't always an option. That survival system still exists inside your brain today. The only difference is that instead of chasing food, it's chasing online sales, expensive gadgets, luxury brands, and instant gratification. Every time you buy something exciting, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical associated with anticipation and reward. Notice something important. Dopamine isn't released because you own the product. It's released because you're expecting the reward. That's why shopping often feels more exciting before the package arrives than after you've opened it. The excitement fades, but the credit card bill doesn't. This is exactly why companies spend billions of dollars studying consumer psychology. Stores don't accidentally place expensive products near the checkout counter. Shopping apps don't randomly send you notifications saying, "Only 3 items left," or "limited time offer." These messages are carefully designed to create urgency because urgency reduces logical thinking. When people believe they might miss an opportunity, they stop asking, "Do I really need this?" and start asking, "What if I miss out?" And that's where one of the biggest money lies begins. Buying expensive things will make you look successful. Think about social media for a moment. Every day, millions of people scroll through photos of luxury vacations, expensive cars, designer clothes, and perfect lifestyles. Without realizing it, they begin comparing their real lives to someone else's highlight reel. That comparison quietly creates pressure. Someone buys a luxury watch, not because they needed it, but because someone else had one. Someone finances a car they can't comfortably afford, not because it improves their life, but because they want to impress people they'll probably never meet again. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many people spend money they don't have to impress people they don't even like. Using debt they'll spend years paying back. The wealthy often think differently instead of asking, "How can I look rich?" they ask. "How can I become financially free?" Those are 2 completely different goals. One focuses on appearance, the other focuses on ownership. And ownership is what builds wealth. Imagine 2 neighbors. The first neighbor buys the newest luxury SUV the moment he receives a promotion. Everyone in the neighborhood admires it. People assume he's incredibly successful. The second neighbor keeps driving a reliable 10-year-old car. Instead of upgrading his lifestyle, he invests the difference every single month. 5 years later, the first neighbor is still making monthly payments. The second neighbor owns a growing investment portfolio. From the outside, the first looked richer, but behind the scenes, the second was becoming wealthier. Real wealth is often invisible. It doesn't always wear designer clothes. It doesn't always drive exotic cars. Sometimes wealth looks surprisingly ordinary. And that's exactly why so many people misunderstand it, because we've been taught to recognize spending instead of ownership. But here's where things become even more fascinating. If spending isn't really about money, then what is it about? The answer has almost nothing to do with your wallet and everything to do with your emotions. In the next chapter, we'll discover why stress, boredom, loneliness, and even happiness can secretly control your financial decisions, and how learning to recognize emotional spending could save you thousands of dollars without earning a single extra cent. Now let's talk about something almost nobody likes to admit. Sometimes, the biggest problem isn't your income, it isn't inflation, it isn't even debt. It's the silent habit of spending money to feel better. Think about the last time you had a stressful day. Maybe work was exhausting, maybe someone upset you, maybe you simply felt bored. What did you do? For millions of people, the answer is surprisingly similar. They opened Amazon. They visited a shopping mall, ordered food they didn't need, or bought something online they hadn't even planned to purchase. For a few moments, it felt amazing, but a week later, that excitement disappeared, the money was gone, and the stress returned. Psychologists call this emotional spending. It's when money becomes a temporary solution for emotional discomfort. The dangerous part is, it works, at least for a little while. Buying something new gives your brain a short burst of excitement. But because that feeling fades quickly, your brain wants another purchase, and another, until spending quietly becomes a habit instead of a decision. Companies understand this better than most people do. That's why online stores send you notifications. Flash sale, only 2 hours left, limited stock. They're not just selling products, they're selling urgency. Because when your emotions become stronger, your logic becomes weaker. The wealthiest people don't avoid every purchase. They simply avoid emotional purchases. They understand one powerful idea. Never make permanent financial decisions based on temporary emotions. If you're angry, wait. If you're excited, wait. If you're stressed, wait. Because time allows logic to catch up with emotion, and that single habit can save you thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Now let me tell you a simple story. Imagine two friends. Every Friday evening, both receive their weekly paycheck. The first friend believes, I worked hard this week. I deserve to enjoy my money, so every weekend, he spends almost everything. Restaurants, shopping, entertainment, new gadgets. By Monday, his account is nearly empty. The second friend also enjoys life, but before spending anything, he pays himself first. He automatically transfers 20% into investments. Then he enjoys whatever remains. At first, their lives look almost identical. After 1 year, there's only a small difference. After 5 years, the difference becomes obvious. After 15 years, one is financially stressed. The other has built real wealth, not because he earned more. Because he developed one simple habit. He made his future more important than his impulses. Now here's another money lie you've probably heard. Saving money is enough. Saving money is important. Everyone should have an emergency fund, but saving alone will never create significant wealth. Why? Because of something almost invisible: inflation. Imagine hiding $10,000 under your mattress for the next 20 years when you finally take it out. The number is exactly the same, $10,000, but what it can buy has changed dramatically. Your money didn't shrink, its purchasing power did. That's why wealthy people don't simply save, they invest. They understand that money should grow faster than inflation. Otherwise, they're slowly becoming poorer, without even noticing. This doesn't mean you should invest blindly. In fact, blind investing is just another form of gambling. The goal isn't taking bigger risks. The goal is making smarter decisions. Because real investing isn't about getting rich next month. It's about becoming financially stronger year after year. And that brings us to one of the greatest financial forces ever discovered, a force so powerful that it has quietly created millions of millionaires. It's called compound growth. And once you truly understand how it works, you'll never look at time or money the same way again. There is a reason why some people become wealthy even though they never earned extraordinary salaries. It isn't because they discovered a secret investment or won the lottery. It's because they understood one simple principle that most people ignore. Time is more valuable than money. That might sound strange. After all, you can use money to buy almost anything. A bigger house, a luxury car, a first-class ticket, the latest smartphone. But there is one thing money can never buy: more time. Every wealthy investor understands this. That's why they don't ask, how much money can I make this year? They ask, how long can my money keep working for me? Imagine planting a tiny apple seed. The next day, nothing happens. A week later, still nothing impressive. Even after several months, it looks small. If you judged the seed too early, you might believe it would never become a tree. But years later, that tiny seed produces hundreds, then thousands of apples. Money works the same way. The beginning always feels slow, sometimes painfully slow. Your first investment barely grows. Your first savings account doesn't look exciting. Your first dividend payment feels tiny. Many people quit right there. They say, investing doesn't work. What they don't realize is they walked away just before compounding had the chance to accelerate. That's exactly why wealthy people stay patient, because they know the biggest rewards usually arrive much later. Now imagine two people. Sarah begins investing just $300 every month at age 25. James decides he'll wait until he's 35 because he wants to earn more first. Sarah invests for 10 extra years. James invests larger amounts later, yet by retirement, Sarah often ends up with significantly more money. Why? Because she gave time the opportunity to work. This is the real superpower of wealth. Not higher returns, not luck. Time. Every year you delay, your future has less time to grow. That's why the richest people don't wait until they feel ready. They simply begin, small, consistently, again and again. But here's another mistake almost everyone makes. They believe investing means buying random stocks because someone on social media said they would go to the moon. That's not investing, that's speculation. Real investors don't chase excitement. They chase consistency. They understand that becoming wealthy rarely happens overnight. It happens quietly, almost invisibly, month after month, year after year. While everyone else is searching for shortcuts, they're following systems. And systems almost always beat motivation. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up every morning feeling inspired to do it. You do it because it's become automatic. Imagine if investing worked the same way, every month, without thinking. Money automatically moved into investments. No emotional decisions, no guessing, no waiting for the perfect time. That's how real wealth is built, not through one brilliant decision, but through thousands of ordinary ones. Now let's talk about something that silently destroys millions of financial futures: debt. Most people think debt is simply borrowing money. But debt is much more than that. Debt is borrowing from your future. Every unnecessary loan means your future paycheck has already been spent. Imagine receiving next month's salary, only to realize part of it already belongs to someone else. The bank, the credit card company, the finance company. Suddenly, you're not working for yourself anymore. You're working to pay for yesterday's decisions. That's why wealthy people view debt differently. They don't ask, "Can I afford the monthly payment?" They ask, "Will this purchase create more value than it costs?" There's a huge difference. A loan used to build a profitable business may create wealth. A loan used to impress strangers usually creates stress. Every dollar you pay in unnecessary interest is a dollar that can never be invested, and those small dollars quietly become thousands over time. So before making your next financial decision, ask yourself one simple question: is this purchase helping my future or stealing from it? Because every financial decision has two prices: the price you pay today and the opportunities you lose tomorrow. And in the next chapter, you'll discover why some ordinary-looking people quietly become millionaires, while others spend their entire lives trying to look rich. Have you ever noticed that some of the wealthiest people don't look wealthy at all? They don't wear designer clothes every day. They don't drive the newest luxury car every year. They don't feel the need to prove anything to anyone. Yet behind the scenes, they're quietly building fortunes. Meanwhile, many people who appear rich are actually buried in debt. They've mastered the art of looking successful, but not becoming successful. This is one of the biggest money lies modern society has ever created. Looking rich is not the same as being wealthy. Think about social media. Every day you're shown exotic vacations, expensive restaurants, luxury watches, sports cars, private jets, and dream homes. After seeing enough of these images, your brain begins to believe this is what success looks like. But what you don't see are the loans, the credit card bills, the financial pressure, or the sleepless nights that sometimes exist behind those pictures. Social media shows lifestyles. It rarely shows balance sheets. Real wealth is surprisingly quiet. A millionaire doesn't need to tell everyone he's a millionaire. His investments speak for him. His assets speak for him. His financial freedom speaks for him. That's why many wealthy people choose simple lifestyles. Not because they can't afford luxury, but because they understand something powerful. Every dollar spent today is a dollar that can't work for tomorrow. Imagine two brothers. Both receive a $50,000 bonus. The first brother immediately buys a luxury SUV. Everyone congratulates him. People admire him. For a few months, he feels successful. The second brother invests the same money into diversified assets and continues living the same lifestyle. 5 years later, the luxury SUV has lost much of its value. The investment portfolio has grown. 10 years later, the first brother owns an old car. The second brother owns financial freedom. The difference wasn't intelligence. It wasn't luck. It was delayed gratification. Successful people understand that temporary sacrifice often creates permanent freedom. Now let's talk about something that quietly separates wealthy people from everyone else. They never stop learning. Most people finish school, and they stop studying. But wealthy people treat learning like an investment. They read books, listen to podcasts, study businesses, learn new skills, improve every year, because they understand one simple truth. The more valuable your knowledge becomes, the more valuable your decisions become. Money follows value. If you become more valuable, your opportunities usually increase. That's why the best investment often isn't in the stock market. It's in yourself. Learning a high-income skill, improving communication, understanding business, learning investing, mastering sales. Building leadership. These skills continue paying you for decades. No market crash can take knowledge away from you. No recession can erase experience. Knowledge compounds just like money. Every book teaches another lesson. Every lesson improves another decision. Every decision shapes another opportunity. Now ask yourself this question. When was the last time you invested in your financial education? Not entertainment, not scrolling, not watching random videos, real learning. Because the person you become over the next 10 years will largely depend on what you choose to learn today. But even after understanding all of this, there's still one final money lie. Perhaps the most dangerous one of all. It's the lie that keeps millions of people waiting for more money, waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting until next year. Waiting until life becomes easier. And sadly, many people spend their entire lives waiting. In the final chapter, we'll discover why the perfect time never arrives, and why your financial future is built by one decision that you can make today. There is one final lie that quietly steals more dreams than almost anything else. It sounds reasonable. It feels responsible, and because of that, millions of people believe it without ever questioning it. The lie is this: I'll start when I'm ready. I'll start investing when I earn more. I'll start saving after I get a better job. I'll start my business next year. I'll learn about money when life becomes less busy. At first, those excuses sound logical. But if you look closely, you'll notice something interesting. Later almost never arrives. Life will always give you another reason to wait. There will always be another bill, another responsibility, another unexpected expense, another excuse. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment, you may spend years standing still while time quietly moves forward without you. Imagine two people standing at the same starting line. Both have the same dream of becoming financially free. The first person says, "I'll begin when I have more money." The second person says, "I'll begin with whatever I have today." One starts investing just a small amount every month. The other keeps waiting for a higher salary. 10 years later, the difference isn't just in their bank accounts. It's in their habits, their confidence, and the opportunities they've created. The first person didn't become wealthy because they had more money. They became wealthy because they started earlier. This is something successful investors understand deeply. Small actions repeated consistently are far more powerful than big actions taken occasionally. You don't need to invest thousands of dollars to begin changing your future. You don't need to build $1 million business overnight. You don't need to know everything before taking the first step. You simply need to move in the right direction and keep moving. Think about how mountains are climbed. No one reaches the top with one giant leap. Every journey is made one step at a time. Wealth works exactly the same way. Every dollar you save, every skill you learn, every book you read, every smart decision you make becomes another step toward financial freedom. On its own, each step seems small. But together, they completely change where your life is heading. Now ask yourself one honest question. If you continue making the same financial decisions you've been making for the last 5 years, where will you be 5 years from now? Will you still be living paycheck to paycheck? Will you still be wondering where all your money went? Or will you finally have the freedom to choose how you spend your time? Because that's what wealth really is. Most people believe wealth means expensive cars, luxury homes, and designer clothes. But real wealth is much simpler. Real wealth is waking up without constant financial stress. It's having choices. It's being able to help your family. It's sleeping peacefully because you know you're prepared for unexpected challenges. It's knowing that your money is working even when you aren't. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all is this: money doesn't change who you are. It reveals the habits you've been building all along. If your habits are careless, more money usually creates bigger problems. If your habits are disciplined, even a modest income can become the foundation of extraordinary wealth. So don't chase the appearance of being rich. Chase financial freedom. Don't compare your journey to someone else's highlight reel. Compare today's decisions with yesterday's. Because every smart financial decision, no matter how small, is a vote for the future you want to build. Remember, the wealthy aren't different because they know a magical secret. They're different because they consistently make decisions that most people postpone. And the best part is, those decisions are available to anyone, including you, starting today. Starting with whatever you have, starting exactly where you are. If this video changed the way you think about money, make sure to hit the like button, because it helps this video reach more people who need these lessons. And if you're serious about building wealth, mastering your financial mindset, and learning the psychology behind money, subscribe to Wealth Theory. Every week, we break down complex financial ideas into simple strategies that can help you build a stronger future. Now I have one question for you. What's the biggest money lesson you've learned in your life? Share it in the comments below. Your experience might inspire someone else to make a better financial decision today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Addy. This is Wealth Theory. Keep learning, keep investing, keep building your future, and remember, the life you want isn't built in a single moment. It's built by the financial decisions you make every single day. I'll see you in the next video.